Hello, and welcome to Babel Yak's Spanish Lesson 1. Please listen.
Perdone, señorita.
¿Entiende usted español? No, señor, yo no entiendo español. Usted entiende muy bien.
By the end of this lesson, you will learn how to both understand and say what you just heard in Spanish. That is, 1. Grabbing one's attention and excusing yourself. 2. Asking someone which language they speak. 3. Addressing people by using ma'am, miss, and sir. 4. Nationalities. And 5. Negating verbs. For example, I am American becomes I am not American. Let's begin. At the beginning of the conversation, you just heard the speaker say, "Excuse me, miss." Listen.
Perdone, señorita. Perdone, señorita.
Let's break this down. Listen and repeat to the Spanish word for miss.
Señorita. Señorita.
Can you say in Spanish, miss?
Señorita. Señorita.
Now, let's try to say, excuse me. Listen.
Perdone. Perdone.
From what you've learned, can you try to say, excuse me, miss?
Perdone, señorita. Perdone, señorita.
Again, how do you say in Spanish, excuse me, miss?
Perdone, señorita. Perdone, señorita.
At the beginning of the conversation, you heard the speaker say, in Spanish, no, sir. Listen and repeat.
No, señor. No, señor.
Can you try to guess what part of that means sir?
Señor. Señor.
From what you've learned, say in this order, sir, miss.
Señor.
Señorita.
Señor.
Señorita.
Very good. From what you've learned, can you try to say, excuse me, sir?
Perdone, señor. Perdone, señor.
At the beginning of the conversation, you heard the speaker say, do you understand Spanish? Listen to the Spanish word for Spanish, as in the Spanish language.
Español. Español.
Try to say Spanish, as in the Spanish language.
Español. Español.
Do you remember how to say, Excuse me, miss.
Perdone, señorita. Perdone, señorita.
And what about excuse me, sir?
Perdone, señor. Perdone, señor.
Good job. Keep in mind, if you feel we are progressing too quickly, it's okay. We will be revisiting this material again throughout the entire unit of lessons. So let's continue. At the beginning of this lesson, you heard the speaker ask, "Do you understand Spanish?" Let's listen and repeat to the Spanish word for you.
Ustedes. Ustedes.
Now, let's listen and repeat to the Spanish phrase for "Do you understand?"
¿Entiende usted? ¿Entiende usted?
Which part of that phrase means you?
Ustedes. Ustedes.
The Spanish translation of the phrase "Do you understand?" literally means "You understand?" This is because in Spanish there is no equivalent to the word do. So with that, can you try to ask, "Do you understand Spanish?" Or literally translated, "You understand Spanish?"
¿Entiende usted español? ¿Entiende usted español?
Now, let's listen to the Spanish word for English, as in the English language. Listen.
Inglés. Inglés.
From what you've learned, can you try to ask, "Do you understand English?"
¿Entiende usted inglés? ¿Entiende usted inglés?
Try to ask in this order. "Do you understand Spanish?" Followed by, "Do you understand English?"
¿Entiende usted español? ¿Entiende usted español?
¿Entiende usted inglés? ¿Entiende usted inglés?
Now, let's have a little conversation. Imagine you are meeting a woman in the street. Let's call her Mrs. Kovas. Grab her attention by saying, "Excuse me, miss."
Perdone, señorita. Perdone, señorita.
Ask, "Do you understand English?"
¿Entiende usted inglés? ¿Entiende usted inglés?
She responds by saying, "No, sir."
No, señor. No, señor.
You've already learned how to say the Spanish word for no, or,
No.
but now let's listen and repeat to the word for yes.